Looking at some security matter as it concerns the country, but I know you know that this has been on for a long while now, but already Twitter, who knows, maybe about to go crazy with your comments. Well, this morning we're joined by Mr. Lancelot Anyanya. He's a security expert. Thank you for coming on today.
Thank you.
Well, it's interesting. We're getting reactions from here and there. Even security operatives are also speaking on this matter. I remember some time ago there was this matter which was being touted in the news about JTF, Borno, and all of that matter. But we've got a report on this, and let's take it now.
Members of the Joint Information Management Committee on Security consist of the Defense Headquarters, the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the Nigerian Police Force, and the Directorate of State Services. It's their monthly briefing on the security situation in the country, especially in Plateau and Borno states and the Niger Delta.
As incidents of wanton destruction of life.
While the committee observed that normalcy has returned to the Plateau, there are still insurgents in Borno and lately Yobe states. But the committee insists that the nation's security agencies are living up to the situation.
The suicide bombing that was targeted at security personnel on that day was aborted as a result of tight security in Maiduguri by the JTF and other security agencies. All the suicide bombers died in the failed attempt. In Damaturu, those responsible, 13 of them, have been arrested and are currently being held in a detention facility within the country. Normalcy has since returned to this state, and people are going about their normal businesses. The report by a national daily that 2 soldiers were killed in Maiduguri is not true. The JTF did not lose any of its soldiers in the said attack.
Despite the amnesty in the Niger Delta, the committee explained that the Joint Task Force in the region are daily confronted with threats of saboteurs of the nation's economy.
The Joint Task Force has continued to intensify its operation against criminals who involved in operating illegal refineries as well as illegal oil bunkering and petroleum vandalism. Within the period under review, the JTF arrested 85 suspects and 3 vessels. The JTF also destroyed over 750 illegal refineries.
The committee is still banking on Nigerians to provide useful information that will assist in the fight against insurgency and crimes in the country. Amaka Nwajugu, Channels Television News.
Well, there you have it. Thank you, Amaka. Well, we're back here now, and then one wonders, how does it get muddled up in the first instance? I mean, how do you get to hear reports that some soldiers died, and here we are, they say, well, that didn't happen.
I don't know where. I think it must be in some media reports that some soldiers died. But you've had the briefing by the spokesperson. Now, my inclination is to go with what the briefing said.
Okay.
The truth about it is that it is not possible that soldiers will die and anybody will hide it. Soldiers are people like me and you. They have families and they are Nigerians. So if soldiers get injured or die in an operation, nobody stands to gain anything to hide it. The soldiers they are family members. So if a soldier dies in an operation, there are procedures, including notifying the family. So it's not something that will be hidden. So if the official position, as we have heard, is that no soldiers died, that is what I want to believe, and truly that's what everybody should believe.
Okay, but now that JCF is in Borno, trying to step in and solve this security challenge that we've got in our hands, there are those who say, or they ask, have they set themselves up as a bait? Because now we see them coming under attack, as they say. We also see that in the reports, various reports every now and then. Is that a concern for you?
No, concern in what way? Because
in the sense that, I mean, you thought that, yes, they attack police formation, security formations, but now the JTF waiting also gets in the line of attack.
Definitely. I mean, the JTF is part of the assets, security assets available to the government. And I think that the deployment of soldiers, deployment of the JTF, only pursuant to the stated position of government and the president that they will do everything possible to protect Nigerians. Now, in the course of doing that, it is not surprising that elements of the JTF will become targets for the insurgents, for other persons wishing to carry out security attacks in these locations. But I think those who go into that kind of mission understand, and that is why as a community, as a society, we must applaud at every occasion what our people in uniform do, because for the rest of us, we can sit here and talk and criticize, but for those who put their lives on the line, the dangers are real. The difference between life and death is just as fine. So I think the soldiers understand that. They understand the dangers of their mission, but also their sense of commitment is able to persuade them to rise above the fear of their personal safety.
Well, speaking from experience, being someone who's been on the field before, who's gone through all of this in times past, what do you expect the people to be doing at this point in time? Because now we've always talked about people coming to volunteer information, and we've just gone a step ahead of that, now getting information. So what should the people be doing, and how can they come out with such information and not getting harmed?
First, the importance of information cannot be overemphasized. One, intelligence is not clairvoyance. Sometimes you read in the media people lambasting or just lambasting the security services, talking about failure of intelligence, and you wonder, intelligence does not read your mind. Intelligence does not read your neighbor's mind. Intelligence does not read your intentions. No, I mean, we should be educated. I mean, even educated people say things like that. The intelligence people don't just conjure things, okay? The truth about it is that intelligence is the piecing together of related information in a particular subject matter, and then subject it to analysis to draw certain conclusions. So invariably, the best intelligence, particularly for the kind of challenge that we face now as a nation, must come as a result of partnership from across the community, from across the entire country. Everybody must drop what he or she has, because you never know what you know or what you have might just be the missing puzzle. Okay, so, and then the security services try to build that intelligence picture over time to a point where it provides a basis for them to act. And until they get to that point, the action that you want to see done may not just be done, because sometimes it requires some kind of surgical accuracy to reduce collateral damage.
I think people will agree with you, but again, as Mark will always highlight on this program, it all amounts to trust. It's not that people really would want to volunteer information. I can only call Mr. Anyanya because I know that and I trust that he would keep that information and not even divulge the source of that information. So, do the people trust people going from the historical past, what people have gone through? How can we take that off our psyche and say, now it's a new phase when I bring this information before any officer or security operative, I'm guaranteed some kind of safety?
The truth is, we must learn to invest trust and confidence in our security services. The mission of the security forces derives legitimacy from the collective mandate of we the people. So if we do not invest confidence and trust in our security services, what is the alternative? Really, that's the question to ask. But in terms of whether some individual element within the security architecture might compromise or betray an informant, I want to assure that from what I know, and the system hasn't changed much, if anybody does that, that is misconduct of the highest order, and the security services have within their statutes procedures for dealing with them, and they are very ruthless. I don't think that any professional security person would divulge information given to them in trust. So I do understand people may have had a couple of unpleasant experiences in the past, but we must also understand that the challenge that we face as a nation at the moment calls for us to invest confidence, take risk where necessary. There's an element of risk that you take. So we must invest confidence in our security services. Now, people are very professional. If a man can go as far as putting his life on the line, okay, to provide the freedom that we all enjoy, we should trust that he can hold information in confidence.